Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we're about what if Belle was from Terraria, and I'm really sorry that I made it pretty late in the night because, it was, the electricity kind of gone off. So I had to make this pretty, late in the night. Sort of. So yeah, anyway, continuing on. So, in the last video we talked about how I'm going to be making it shorter because for obvious reasons, and also because, because tomorrow I still have exams. And by the way, my exams are actually pretty much well, and are actually pretty much easy for me. I guess, peer pressure is pretty much, I guess you could say a good motivator. Anyway, so, I'm gonna be making it shorter, the, explanation. So, after, the whole, confrontation with, him and also, the Apollo Familia, they would start trading, they would also, get a brand new item for Lily, in this case the Avenger Emblem, and let's just say she's now able to create massive, blasts of energy. More specifically, blasts of energy that resemble, One Punch Man's, Saitama's famous punches. Oh god. And after a while of, training, it's finally the day of, the war game. And let's just say the war game was not really a war game, but more like a slaughter. And, the winning side is currently Belle and his, other familiar members. And Hyacinthus apparently, spread some rumors about, how, Hestia and, Belle sort of, conspired, kind of conspired so they can, let's just say, do some unsavory things to, to Aphysis, aka Belle's girlfriend. And let's just say he was pissed off. And so after fighting him, let's just say he beats him to the fucking ground and literally mind breaks him. And after confessing to all of his, things, including, lying about these rumors, let's just say everybody was pretty much pissed off at him. And so Belle basically, rips him apart thanks to his brand new, signature move called Blade Storm. And so the Apollo Familia is lost and no longer is allowed to be, no longer be allowed to, how do I say this? Yeah, they're basically disbanded. And so Apollo would basically give all of his things to, to the Hestia Familia, and so Belle, Hestia, Lily, and Vetus would basically leave, knowing that they basically won this battle. And so that was basically the end of that episode. And so let's talk about what happens next. So, as Belle is basically waking up with the rest of his familia, they would decide to go to their brand new area, more specifically, their brand new territory of the used to be, Apollo Familia Mansion. And so, all of them would basically start to leave. They would start walking around the city as several people would greet them, and some of them would praise them. Mostly because they defeated, a considerably strong familia. And not only that, because of their, small numbers, I mean, there's literally 3 members of this familia, they sort of became like the underdog. Like the sort of like underdog trope. Even though it's the complete opposite. Actually, it's more like, the underdog was, the Apollo Familia. But, let's just say, they did one. So, yeah. So, after arriving at the, Apollo Familia Mansion, they would see, a few members of the Apollo Familia leaving and basically sulking. And when they saw Belle and the rest of their, Familia, specifically the Hestia Familia, they would basically start running for the hills. Including the midget. The midget would just glare at him as Belle would just, launch a Terra Prisma sword near his feet as he would start to run away, saying, whatever, I will just... He would basically start to stutter and would just start to leave, running. Apparently, during the whole, disbandment of, disbandment of, the Apollo Familia, apparently, a certain, high-up bitches over there, sort of left Terraria and now is currently living in a pretty unbeknown city. And currently is, hated by every single one of them because of his, you know, how do we say this? The whole, literally tricking everybody, and also for, apparently, he sort of, raped a girl in that village. And I mean, unconsensually type of one. Like, literally tying her up and shit. Yeah, let's just say, oh boy, let's just say his life is currently down under. Yeah. So, as they walk into their, brand new estate, they would start looking around and seeing a lot of, stuff they can use. As Bo would say this. This place is quite great for, as he would start saying, a mob farm, he would basically start to say, as one of them would say this. A mob what? As, Vitas would basically explain. Apparently, a mob farm, if you already know, well, it's basically like, gathering, several monsters' items by literally, just farming their dead bodies. That's basically what it is. Sorry about that, wait for a second. So, yeah, after explaining all of this, she would say specifically, what's her face? Yeah, Hestia would say, wait, are you really sure that we should do this? I mean, it would probably be, dangerous for the other, people there. Like, for example, the regular civilians, as Bo would say this. Oh, don't worry. Besides, I have a special, I guess you could say, as you would say under his breath, witch. And so, he would basically start creating, instead of making a brand new house there, instead they're just going to turn it into a large-ass mob farm. So, Belle would Belle would basically start making huge-ass walls, which everybody was just like going like, what are they doing? As one of them would say this, I think they're hiding something. As currently with, wait for a second. Currently with the Vice Familia. The Vice Familia has been, getting some weird, messages currently by other Familias. Apparently saying, mostly from the gods, mostly from, other gods saying, wait, you're married to a mortal now? Not really mortal, or not really married, but more like, basically, they're basically saying, wait, you're actually, in love with a mortal? All of them would basically start, saying that, mostly the letters saying that, as some gods were basically congratulating them, some would just think it's actually kind of cool, and one certain one, aka, Freya, was a bit more vocal. Let's just say she's sort of, kind of envious. And one of them, or more specifically another, I guess you'd say letter was a bit concerning, saying that this, mysterious, person by the name of or Miss I, apparently she wants to steal Belle away and wants to, have some fun with him. And apparently the reason why is because apparently Freya also likes him. You basically get it. So, yeah, so because of hearing this, she would think, so, this Miss I, so she's trying to get Belle just because Freya likes him. She would basically start to clench her fist as she would say, so, she wants that, eh? Miss I, when I see you, I swear to God, if you steal Belle from me, I will kill you. She would basically say, as, a few members currently nearby, specifically, some members of the, of her family would start, I don't know, literally shaking their boots by basically, they're basically like shaking, thinking, what the hell, why is our, like, god or goddess in this case, is literally, like, emitting so much killing intent, all of them would start to think. So, yeah, currently with Belle and also, the rest of their familia. So, as Belle is currently, making some foundations, like some of the foundation for the mob farm, as he would decide to make this a specific type of mob farm, mostly, with different areas. So, one of the areas was, basically like a mushroom biome, which he used, some mud and some mushroom seeds. Another was a jungle farm, which was filled with, mostly with, jungle seeds and mud, obviously. Another that's just, which is just like I guess you could say, like, sort of underground. I mean, it is underground. It's basically like a cave-based one. So, Belle would basically start to, get some, mostly some regular stuff. Like, for example, some simple mimics. Others, like, a crimson farm, another one that's basically a corruption farm, another one that's a hollow farm, things of that sort. You would also get a mushroom farm, which you would basically get some, a few items, and would also create a large area so he can, get himself I guess you'd say, a certain ally. In this case, the Shroomite guy. Actually, let me just check the actual name of the thing. Never mind, he's called the Truffle. So, after, getting a lot of items from these specific farms, which, let's just say, he's starting to get a lot of it. And let's just say Hestia was a bit, a lot, and I mean pretty much wondering how is she, how is he actually getting all of these items, which Belle would explain, saying that, a certain, like, some of his weapons can basically, basically, how do I say this? Yeah, can literally, basically phase through objects, like, for example, his Terra Prisma, his Tempest Staff, last Prism, kind of, Nebula Blaze, not really like the SDMG, and also that is Stormbow, because it doesn't really work, Zenith, and actually not Vampire Knives. Those are the only items that basically allow him to basically, attack, enemies without getting attacked himself. And so after hearing this, she was pretty impressed. And seeing it, and basically seeing all of the high quality, high quality items, from all of these mobs, she was pretty much impressed. And so Belle would, just sell them off, or at least, get, some of the, weapon-based items and basically give them to Hephaestus so she can sell. Which, they're selling like freaking hotcakes. So, after creating the large biome and also finally getting the Truffle into his ranks, the Truffle, just imagine, what is that called? It's basically like a D&D monster. It's basically the mushroom one. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it kind of looks like that. So, as it would basically introduce himself as Tim. Yeah, Tim. As you would basically get a lot of items from him. Mostly just some Shroomite, based items, and Belle would basically, just grab, a few, not really few, but more like, a certain item in his Gate of Babylon style portal. In this case, a fishing net. Not fishing net, I meant, a regular old net, or whatever it's called. It's basically the item that allows you to basically capture creatures. So, after, grab a few truffle worms, which he was planning to, summon to Fishron for, items, and also, so he can, progress to the game, I guess. And so Belle would basically leave and telling them, goodbye, specifically the truffle guy. And so Belle, him, Vitas, Lily, and also Hestia would basically start to leave, as a few people were wondering what's inside of this place. Some people were basically wondering what was in that place, so some of them would try to break in, but unfortunately, all of their, resources, including their weapons, some explosives, which are from this world, couldn't even phase through it, and this is apparently supposed to be made out of wood. So, yeah, because of this, everybody was just wondering what the fuck are these, what are these walls actually made out of? And so, as Belle is basically, going through the city, he would basically, go through an alleyway with, the rest of his familia, and so would finally go back to the church. So after arriving back, all of them would basically fall asleep. The next day comes as they're, going through town, as they would start going through their normal routine, which is, going through the dungeon and killing some monsters, and maybe even going through the route where they usually go to, um, wait for a second, god dang it, or going through, the dungeon so they can, get some simple items. The route where where he actually made those artificial biomes. So, during this routine, they would basically get a lot of, how do I say this? Popularity because of that. Some adventurers were wondering if they can join, their familia, but Hestia was a bit hesitant, knowing that, some of those guys were just here just for the money. I mean, it makes sense. So, as Belle and also Hestia were basically, checking out their, large, mob factory, which, by the way, started using, rails thanks to the help of, the steampunker by the name of, Stephanie. So, Stephanie is, a simple, steampunker, which she's currently living in, wait for a second. She's now currently living in the large mob factory right next to, with the merchant Henry and also, Ben, aka the clother. So, they're currently living together with also the Shroomite, Truffle, and they seem to be great friends. Sort of. I mean, in the game, there's supposed to be like this whole like system where there's like, the whole like, NPCs disliking and liking some, NPCs, like for example, the cyborg actually liking, the steampunker and, the, Santa Claus, which apparently is also an NPC, which I never seen before. I'm guessing he's because, it's not, December or something of that sort, or not near Christmas, at least in my country, which, by the way, they celebrated, they're basically waiting for Christmas, and while I was, going to school, I saw in the news that they basically have, like, a timer for, Christmas, which, by the way, us Filipinos are absolutely dedicated to, Christmas. I mean, it makes sense, after all, we're basically a Christian country, so, the whole birth of Jesus Christ, but, it's a bit much, to say the least. So, anyway, continuing on, all of them would basically like each other, so, it's not really a problem, which and Belle was, a bit confused, thinking that it's going to be, like, a little bit hard, because, some of them in the actual game absolutely hate each other. So, it sort of surprised them that they sort of like each other now. So, yeah. So, wait for a second. So, as, Belle is, going through his, usual, routine, basically after, doing his work at, the guild, which, after selling all of the items which he got from his mob farm, and also from the dungeon, all of them were just like, yeah, pretty good, but here, all of them would start, grabbing bags upon bags of, like, Valis, which, let's just say, the other familiars were going like, how the fuck is he carrying them all? They'll just keep putting them in the bag, which is just a bag that's used as, I guess you could say, like, a cover-up for his Gate of Babylon style, portal. And so, after getting tons and tons of Valis, he would basically leave saying goodbye. So, after saying goodbye to them, one of them specifically, I think her name was specifically Aina, as Aina would say this. That boy certainly is a hassle, but at least I get a lot of money from it, she would say, as she would look over at her colleagues, which some of their adventurers were currently just like suffering and would just, give them very few items, as all of them would start glaring at her. As she would say, hey, it wasn't my fault, I mean, Bella's pretty talented, so, as one of them would say this, alright, shut the fuck up, just let me leave me the fuck alone, guy, please. I don't want to be, told that I'm still freaking poor. Yeah, so, currently with Belle, Belle is basically going through the, place, specifically through the, alleyways, as after a while, Belle would basically arrive at a little area. More specifically, a little area that resembles, a simple black alleyway. But when he was going through the alleyway, he would hear the sounds of fighting. As Belle would look over and see an Amazoness? Or at least he thinks that's an Amazoness. As Belle would basically jump into the fray and would basically block the attack from an Apollo Familia member? Or at least the former one. As he would say, "Hey, go! Wait, no. As he would start backing away, as he would say, "Get away from me!" As he would say, "Oh, I didn't know that the Apollo Familia, or at least the former Apollo Familia members, decided to try and hurt innocent girls." As he would say, "She's not innocent, I swear, and please leave me." As he would basically start saying that, as he would start saying, "Believe it, believe me, it wasn't me, it was her." As Belle would say this, really are annoying, he would basically say. And trust me, I won't believe you because ever since your little, nuisance, more specifically your idiot of a leader, aka Hyacinthus, decided to, try and ruin my life, well, let's just say I still hate you guys. So, as Belle would say this, Blade Storm. As thousands upon thousands, terror prisma swords would come out of nowhere and would start, slicing through him. Not killing him, but more like, damaging him to the point that he was, screaming out in pain. As he would start running away, as he would say this, "You regret this!" As he would start leaving. As Belle would just sigh, as he would say, "Hey, you. As this girl seems to have caramel-like skin like all Amazons have. As she seems to have. Also, apparently, her name is Aisha. Or at least, her eyes were basically, saying it. Actually, it's more like she actually said that. But basically, she has, purplish eyes, as she would basically say her name was Aisha. As Belle would say this, "So, Miss Aisha, are you okay?" As she would say, "Oh, I'm fine. That brute was trying to hurt me," she would basically say. As Belle would say this, "I see. Yeah. Typical, Apollo Familia members, or at least former ones. I thought they actually learned their lesson." As she would say this, "I guess so. Anyway, you should probably start to leave now." As Belle would say this, "Oh yeah. By the way, are you okay?" As she would say this, "Yeah, sort of." As she would start to feel her leg, as she'd say, "It still sort of hurts." As Belle would say this, "I see. Here." As Belle would start, grab her and almost bridal style, carry her. As she would say, "Oh, I didn't know that Belle Cornell was a bit of a, how do I say this? A bit of a charmer," she would say. As Belle would say this, "Trust me, I'm not really interested in you." As she would say, "Really?" As Belle would say this, "Yeah, unfortunately, I'm currently, in a relationship with somebody." As she would say, "I see." As Belle would say this, "By the way, are you part of a familia or anything?" As she would say, "Not currently, but I'll just be saying this. Let's just say a goddess is currently, trying to find me." As Belle would say this, "I see. Anyway, we should probably leave." And so, both of them would start to leave, going back to, his home, aka the large church. After arriving there, Belle would say this, "Alright guys, I'm home." As Hestia would run over, as she would say, "Belle, wait, who's that?" As she would say, with a concerned tone, as Belle would say this, "Oh, this is Aisha. I found her during, one of my travels. Apparently she was attacked by a former, Apollo Familia member." Those guys don't really learn. As she would say this, "That's horrible. Are you okay?" As she would say, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just got a twisted leg." As she would start to look, for, how do I say this? Basically, pointing to her, to her leg, showing off a twisted, ankle or foot. As she would say, "Oh, I see. you can stay here for now. As she would say, thank you. And so, Belle would basically bring her to one of his, guest bedrooms in his, I guess you could say, like, little area of his. And so, after bringing her there, she would say, whoa, this place is quite fancy. So, you're a member of the famous, the randomly created, Hestia Familia, right? As Belle would say this. Yep. So, here, as Belle would basically grab something from his Gate of Babylon style, portal. As she would say, what the? As Belle would say this. Yeah, this is a little secret of mine. I'm basically able to grab anything, and yeah, it basically allows me to create anything out of nowhere. As Belle would basically throw her the, lesser healing potion. As Belle would say this. Drink it. As she would say, fine. And so she would basically drink the red potion as her leg would start to heal. As she'd say, whoa, I feel much better. My leg is... How did you... As Belle would say this. Lesser healing potion. It's a potion that I'm able to, get from my, Gate of Babylon. Not really Gate of Babylon. I meant, from my portal over there. As she'd say, that's incredible. I mean, I never seen anything like it. As Belle would say this. Yeah, anyway, you should probably rest here for now. As Belle would start to leave, saying, you can just watch anything on that TV over there, or television. As she'd say, huh? As Belle would say this. Let me just show you. As Belle would basically teach her how to use the TV, as she would start watching some of the shows on there. Like, I guess you could say, like, little parodies of, like, little parodies of, like, some shows from this world. Like, actually, I'm not, let me just think of the actual name. Just imagine, like, a rip-off, like a, basically, like, a parody version of, like, Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, that's basically what it is. So, as Belle would start to leave, she would say, goodbye, as Belle would say this, goodbye, and so he would basically leave her in her room. As she would basically go onto her feet, as she would say, it really is sealed. Now this is going to be easier than I thought, she would basically say, as she would grab something from her pocket, and it was some sort of crystal, as she would basically put it down, as she would basically start doing a chant. And when this chant was over, everybody, or at least, you guys would see a woman. This woman seems to have purplish hair and purplish eyes, with chocolate-colored skin, and almost a prostitute-type feel, as this, as Aisha would basically kneel down, as she would say, Mistress Ishtar, I infiltrated the Hestia Familia, and it seems that Belle is quite the gentleman, she would say, as she would say this. I see. So, you know your mission. Try and capture him, and soon he will be mine. And, by the way, if you try and hurt him, you'll be punished. And keep him away from her, she would say, as, Aisha would say this. Yes, ma'am. I will not let Brina Jamel. Yeah, I think that's the name. As she would say that. As she would say this, specifically Ishtar. Yes, I don't want her ruining him. Besides, I want him to be defiled by me and me alone, so I can see Ishtar's depressive state, she would say. But either way, try and get him. Got it? As she would say this. Sure, Mistress Ishtar. But I have a question. As she would say this. What is it? As she would say this. What about the girlfriend of Belcurnell? Miss, or should I say Mistress, what is her name? Mistress, Hephaestus. As, after hearing this, she would say, don't worry about her. Besides, her familia is not really that strong. Besides, if she were to get help, it would probably be nobody. As she would say this. Sure, Master. And so, the transmission would end as the crystal would crack and disappear, turning into gas. As she would say this, "So, Cornell, unfortunately my master has spoken, and so I'll gladly do whatever she wants. And so I have to, and so I will have to take you down," she would say. And so she would go onto her bed, which, by the way, she thought it was pretty comfortable. And not only that, it felt like heaven to her. And so, after going onto her bed, she would fall asleep, with Belle also, falling to sleep, including the, others of his familia. Or at least, the Hestia familia. So yeah, this will be the end of this episode. And so, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!